everybody. So this video is going to be a little different. Make yourself some coffee, grab a tea. I've got tea. And just make yourself comfortable and we'll just catch up. I've realized that a lot of people don't follow me on all of my social media platforms, and I do have a lot, so I do not blame you for not following me on all of them. However, I've realized that you know, sometimes I'm not, you know, I'll say one thing on one platform but then forget to say it on another. So I figured this last YouTube video that I'm making for 2024, let's just catch up. Let's just have a cozy little chat and talk about the wild year 2024 has been and kind of my thoughts and where I think I'm going to be headed in 2025. Yeah, it's been a wild year. There has been like multiple small businesses that did pottery tools and things like that have gone out of business, or just, you know, were affected by the floods, discontinued lusters, discontinued clays. Like, it has been a very hard year for the pottery world, at least in respect to the things I do, the techniques I use and things like that. It has been really hard to figure out what I'm going to be doing going forward. And then on top of that, I decided to add another aspect of my business. So, you know, most of you who've been following me for a while and stuff know I do pottery. I'm known for the pottery. But recently I've been switching up my content to also include like writing updates and things like that for the novel that I'm trying to publish. And if you join my Patreon, it's a little bit of both. You get a little bit of pottery, you get a little bit of writing. And so, yeah, I just kind of want to talk about what I'm doing, where I'm going. You know, a couple of months ago, I posted a video about my artist style and how I didn't know where I was going and how I wasn't happy with it and how all of the changes that have been happening in the pottery world have kind of affected it. One of the main manufacturers decided to discontinue lusters. There are other manufacturers that do them. However, the prices are very high. Or the shipping is very high, so it makes it really hard to be able to get them and make pottery that is a reasonable price. Yeah, handmade pottery is more expensive than, you know, going and buying stuff at you know, Target and stuff like that. But like, I do try to kind of keep them in the happy medium between what's available at the highest tier and what's available at the lowest, you know. And so that's something I kind of have to keep in mind when it comes to, you know, the products I use, the glazes I use, the lusters I use, all of which have gone up in price by a lot. So going into that and my artist style, I think that you are probably going to see less of the lusters and the golds from me. I'll admit, lusters are not my favorite thing to use. I have been making pieces with them and stuff because I think they turn out pretty. But the whole process is very hard for me. You need face masks, gloves, the whole 9 yards. Lusters aren't necessarily a easy or safe thing to, you know, use. Once it's fired and everything, it's good, it's food safe and stuff like that. But as far as like the process of applying them, not the best for you. So that's probably one thing that's going to change is if I do add gold or have gold on my pieces, it will be few and far between. There'll be a far less pieces that I have that are available that have the lusters, and they probably will increase in price, unfortunately. I would like to say that I've figured out my artist style and I know what I'm doing and where I'm going, and I do have a better idea than I did a couple months ago when I made that video. I have kind of just come to terms with the fact that once the red clay's gone, it's gone. There's one other red clay that I would like to try to see if I can get it to work, but I've kind of come to terms with the fact that that was a part of my artist style at one point. That was a phase I had gone through, but that I'm moving on from that. So, you know, the pieces that I make, like the dragon egg mugs and things like that, you know, I am happy and excited that I made the ones that I've made. I have one bag left. But once it's gone, it's gone. And one of the things that I really kind of came to terms with thinking through where I want my artist style to go and what I want it to be is that I want to include more of the writing, the stories, the fairy tales, the things that inspire me. I want them to be in my work more. And the problem that I'm having with that is that those pieces don't sell as well in certain markets. So I am in a local shop from here, and I've noticed that my pottery, the fancy pieces, the ones that are involved with the stories and things, don't sell as well. So one of the things I'm going to be doing going forward is keeping a basic line of bump cups and mugs that are just, glazed combos, regular things, nothing too fancy. And those are what's going to be available pretty consistently online and from here, and I'm just going to do my best to keep those stocked. But also, those pieces are easier for me to make and easier to keep in stock. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing going forward, is just have those just available and not necessarily have them as launches or be part of launches or anything like that. They're just going to be available in the background from here and on my website. It's not going to be like a big hurrah, like my story collections normally are. And I probably won't do too much of like recording them and everything like that. So yeah, that's one of the changes I'm making. One of the others is I'm going to be making my story collection smaller and hopefully more frequent. I'm going to break them up, and again, bringing back into the story and the fairy tale aspect of what inspires my pottery. I'm going to be calling them chapters. So I'm just going to be making smaller collections, having more of the pieces in there. So like, instead of having like one fancy mug, I'll have like 3 or 4 of that fancy mug, So I'll have more pieces, but they'll only be certain designs, and the designs that are available in the collections will be smaller. And yeah, so I'm hoping that will also help, is that I'm not going to be sitting there, making a 10-piece collection and making multiple pieces of each of those and then trying to launch it all at once and stuff like that. I'm hoping with streamlining it and making my collection smaller, at least the story collections and stuff, that I'll have more time to get them done. I'll be able to get them done better and, more of them and things like that. And I'm still probably going to stick with, underglazes, sgraffito, things like that. That's always kind of been something I've really enjoyed doing, is carving and painting and stuff on the clay. And then, of course, one of the other big things that I'm going to be doing is trying to publish my novel in 2025. I'm not for sure saying it's going to be published in 2025, but that is a big goal of mine. And in order to be able to have the space in the room to be able to do that, I feel like if I make my pottery collection smaller, more frequent, less intense, as when I'm, launching them and stuff, that will give me more time also to get like stuff done for the book, like editors and beta readers and cover design, and be able to have time for all of that as well. And of course, ultimate goal is to be able to have pottery based off of my own books. So what'll probably happen is I'll release the first book in 2025, and then sometime after that I will have a pottery collection based off of that book release. And I think that's what's going to work best for that going forward. Also, a little tidbit, I don't mention it very often, but I am also teaching pottery classes. So I teach a kids class on Thursdays, and that's been really fun. The kids get really excited, and it's really neat. I have a couple of kids who are regulars, and it really means a lot for them to tell me that it's kind of their downtime, it's their time to play with the clay, and they really enjoy it and look forward to it during the week. It helps them get through like the hard classes and things that they're doing at school, because I usually have the class right after school, so it's something they can look forward to and stuff. And it's actually been really awesome, and I've loved doing it, and I've been bothered by them to be able to do a wheel throwing class for kids as well. And for those of you who don't know, I actually was a preschool teacher for 7 years, so teaching kids is something I've always really enjoyed doing, and something I have a lot of practice doing. So that's been really fun to kind of revisit that part of me, to revisit all the knowledge and all the experience I have with teaching, and to be able to reuse it, for pottery has been really neat. And then yeah, I'm planning on hopefully being able to do wheel throwing class for some of the older kids in my classes, you know, that are pretty frequent. So yeah, so that's kind of been fun too. I really enjoyed that. I usually have my classes broken up in 3 weeks. So you know, the first 2 weeks we're making, you know, and the last week they're glazing and stuff like that, and then they can come pick up the pieces when they're done. As far as my novel in the book goes, I am halfway through edits of my book, so that's why I'm hoping that I should be able to get it out in 2025. As far as YouTube goes, I am still going to be making videos. However, this is the last video for 2024. I need a little bit of a break. I need to be able to have the time to rework how I'm doing the collections and kind of make a plan for 2025. So this will be the last video until 2025 when I come back with a new one. For you all, but I am going to take a couple week break, just, you know, to enjoy the holidays, to enjoy my family, to, you know, not have to have work hanging over my head. So that's all I really have to talk about. If you have any more questions or any more things you want to know, or something I might have forgotten to mention, something that I've, you know, forgotten to talk about, just let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to respond to them. I will say also that I'm going to be moving away from teaching pottery videos, and it's going to be more just me vlogging and small business stuff and pottery stuff, you know, being in the studio and all that, you know, kind of just showing my process and how I run Stories N Stoneware. I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoy this video, and I will see you in the new year. Bye.